Hello everyone, my name is Wen-Chin from Naka University, Japan. Today I'm going to present the Singing Voice Conversion Challenge 2023. So the Voice Conversion Challenge, VCC, is a biannual scientific event for voice conversion VC since 2016. The goal has been to provide a common data set for fair comparisons, baselines as starter kits, and also insights and future research directions. So there have been 3 versions in 2016, 18, and 20, and this year we're launching the Singing Voice Conversion Edition. So if you look at the difference between normal voice conversion and singing voice conversion, VC and SVC respectively, the difference lies in the conversion of prosody. So in normal voice conversion, the prosody can be seen as part of the speaker identity, so it can be freely changed. While in singing voice conversion, there's this thing called the music note, which is basically how the song should be sung. So it cannot be changed because it should be seen as part of the content, while the singing style, for example, can be seen as the identity of that singer. So it should be changed respectively. So these two aspects have to be considered wisely and smartly by the SBC system in order to achieve good singing voice conversion, achieve performance. So we use a dataset called NHSS, which is kindly provided by the National University of Singapore. It contains recordings of vocals of English pop songs. So there's no instruments, just the voice. So these lyrics are sung and spoken by the speakers or the singers in this dataset. They are partially parallel. So parallel dataset is kind of important in VCs because they are preferred for evaluation. So we took the parallel parts of the dataset. We organized this dataset in SBC 2023. So as you can see, they are not long because basically this dataset was just kind of small. So we used like 11 or 12 minutes of the singing voice data and also 4 to 6 minutes of the spoken data. So this is kind of a challenging dataset, we would say. There are usually 2 tracks in VCCs, one an easy track and a hard track. So for example, in 2018, we had parallel voice conversion and non-parallel. And in 20, we have intralingual and cross-lingual. So in this year, we designed 2 tasks also. One is in-domain and one is cross-domain. So the difference is that for in-domain, it means that the trained data is singing voice. So the system will know how this target singer sounds like. But for cross-domain, the trained data is just speech. So it has to imagine how this speaker sounds like when he or she sings. So this is the difficult part of cross-domain SVC. We announced the challenge at the same time as last year. And we gave the participants 2 months to prepare their system using the trained data. And we released the evaluation data in April, and then we gave them 1 week to prepare the converted data set. And we spent like about 2 months to do all the evaluation, including the listening test, and then released the results back to them and had them to submit their paper if they want to ASRU. So we have 24 submissions from China, Japan, Taiwan, UK, and Brazil. And we also have 2 baselines. So these 2 baselines are, number one, the official implementation of this SVC, which was the state of art when we were organizing this challenge. It was provided by Songxiang, who belongs to Tencent AI. But this system belongs to that company, so it cannot be open sourced. So we prepared another open source version, which resembles FastSBC, which is also another system that was developed by Songxiang when he was in Tencent AI. So this can be seen as a starter kit for beginners. If you look at these 2 systems, they all follow the same methodology, which is called recognition synthesis. So we first use a recognizer to do recognition to extract the key components that we want. That does not have to be changed. So for example, the contents were also F0 energy. These are just prosody features. And then we can fuse in the target singer or speaker's identity into the synthesizer to do synthesis so that we can generate the final converted singing voice. So here are some samples from the baseline.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad.
And this is the reference of the target singing.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad.
And this is the final converted sample generated by the system.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad.
Okay, so if you look at the figure that I just presented, you'll see that the content is is represented by some kind of feature, right? So the content feature is kind of important in a SBC system nowadays. So there are many choices like PPG. These are features from an ASR model. And also self-supervised speech representations have also been very popular, such as Hubert, content vec, WaveLM, and so on. And also the vocoder is also a pretty important module in the SBC system. So all systems use GAN-based vocoders, and like hi-fi GANs, big V GAN, and also some source filter-based GANs such as NSF, and also a combination of NSF and hi-fi GAN are also being used. And there are also some other differences which can be found in the paper, and I will be skipping them, and I will leave the readers and listeners to themselves. So the most important evaluation protocol in voice conversion and also SBC is subjective evaluation, which is listening test. So we measured two axes. One is naturalness and one is similarity, which basically are very easy to understand. But due to budget constraints, we could not recruit all English listeners, although the data set is in English. So we also recorded Japanese listeners. So in total, we have like this many scores from the English and the Japanese listeners, which cost us more than 700,000 yen, which is a lot of money. So first, we present the naturalness results. So the good news is that the baseline is outperformed by a lot of systems, which means that since last time, since the state of the art, the SBC, many systems have improved their systems to perform better, which is a good thing from the organizer's point of view. You can see that all these systems beat the baseline system, which is very good. These are the top systems, but we want to note that no team has the mean score higher than the source and the target here. And cross-domain is indeed harder than task one, the in-domain, because that there are 14 teams that achieved more points of 3, and there are only 8 teams that can achieve this in the cross-domain task. So indeed, task 2 is harder than task 1. If you look at the pairwise significance between systems, we can see that actually the ground truth target is not significantly different from these systems. For example, T23 and T7 in task 1, and also T02 in task 2, which means that actually, although that we said that no system can achieve like a higher mean score than the natural samples, human level naturalness can also actually be achieved by top systems, which is actually an encouraging thing. Now, if you look at similarity, we would say that similarity is harder to achieve for SBC systems. So first, the baseline performed 5th and 1st in both tasks, respectively, which means that less teams will be able to beat the baselines. And these are the top systems. And as you can see, there is a significant gap between the target natural samples and the best performing system in each task, which means that similarity is getting harder than naturalness. And also task 2 is harder than task 1 because yeah, as you can see, most systems have lower score compared to task 1. If you look at the pairwise significance, you can see that no team can achieve like a insignificance between the system and the target natural samples, which means that there are a lot to improve on similarity. Now, finally, we also provide objective evaluation as a reference because listening test is very expensive and we want to reduce the cost. So we might want to see how good these objective evaluation can achieve. So we calculated these metrics: MCD, F0 RMSE, F0 correlation, error rates from ASR model, the correlation coefficient between the speaker embedding extracted from a speaker embedding model, and also automatic loss prediction models. And as we can see here, for naturalness, the word error rates, actually the character error rates from ASR models can have the highest correlation coefficient. As for the similarity, as we expect, the speaker embedding can provide the best correlation coefficient. But we want to note that they're all pretty low, right? There's like 0.7 or like 0.6, 0.4, which means that in single voice conversion, no objective evaluation metric alone can well correlate with the naturalness, with the listening test scores. So there's still a long way to go to develop automatic objective evaluation tricks. So for conclusions, we did attract a lot of teams to participate in this year's SBCC, and the mainstream is to use recognition synthesis-based systems with GAN-based vocoders. Naturalness, we have some teams that achieve human-level naturalness, and for similarity, no team can be achieving that, so there's still a long way to go. And using objective evaluation to replace listening tests for SBC is also still very difficult and has a long way to go. If you want to know more details about the SBCC 2023, or you want to just chat with us, please come to our poster during ASRU. Thank you very much.